Wild Yinzers kicking through the door, loud like a jag-off at a Pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud, heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Steeler Friday. Welcome back to the show. Glad to see everybody back today. I'm glad. I hope everybody had a great holiday. It was Christmas yesterday, of course. It was nice. I got to be honest. Christmas was nice with me, and I got to see all the family. However, over time, things change. My parents, they're not old, but they're old. They're getting old. They're getting older. And it's always something because, again, when people are older, things are, they can be comical, and you could be in the middle of the most serious conversation with somebody, talking about somebody that might have passed recently. And my dad, he always never fails, pops in with something along the lines of, "They missed my vein 5 times at the doctor's this morning."
Flow, black and gold thunder everywhere they go.
I don't know what that is, but right in the punchline. I appreciate that, producer. Thank you. But he could pop out of nowhere and start talking about how many times the doctor missed his vein at his doctor's appointment, guys. And again, that just Christmas is something, holidays are something, family time is something, and at the end of the day, here we are. December 26th. We're back. I'm glad to see everybody back. Good afternoon to Bingo. Good afternoon to Richard, to Tyrone, to Phil, Lindsay, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Steeler Friday, guys. That's right. On Sunday, we do take on the Cleveland Browns up there in Cleveland. This game is a 1:00 start. We are 4.5-point favorites in this game. This is the week 17 of the NFL. There were 3 games yesterday, one of which screwed us a little bit. When I say screwed us a little bit, I mean it really changed the dynamic of what the Steelers got going on this weekend. Because if Minnesota beat Detroit yesterday, that puts Green Bay in the playoffs. And of course, if you watched yesterday, Minnesota beat Detroit 23-10. So this makes things a little different because now Green Bay doesn't necessarily have to go out and try to win. But with 2 games left on your schedule, a little bit like us, if we clinch this weekend, I don't think I want guys sitting around for 2 weeks. I think that leads to a one and done in the playoffs. I truly do. Can't give guys too much rest, especially when you're playing your best football in our by way of us. But again, Minnesota beating Detroit yesterday, it changes our position just a little bit because now we have to hope that Green Bay uh, beats Baltimore for us to clinch this weekend before we play. If we want to clinch before we play on Sunday, we have to hope for that to happen. Green Bay to beat Baltimore. Now, a couple things said about that. As I did say, yes, Green Bay did clinch the playoff spot yesterday. They clinched their spot with Detroit losing. But Lamar Jackson is doubtful for the game against Green Bay on Sunday or Saturday. I'm sorry. So things are interesting, guys. Again, we're gonna, I don't think anybody was expecting Minnesota to beat Detroit, but I think Detroit's done. I got to be honest with you. I think Detroit at this point is probably just tanking after they got knocked out of the playoffs. The big loss last week to the Steelers and then losing again to Minnesota. It's no surprise. Again, it seems that they are tanking because they are a good team. They should have beat Minnesota at the end of the day, and it didn't happen that way. But as it plays out, that's the way it looks, guys. Green Bay has to beat Baltimore on Saturday for us to clinch the spot before we even play on Sunday. And again, Green Bay already clinched their playoff spot yesterday as Minnesota did beat Detroit. So again, the help, we don't know what kind of help we're going to get. But Saturday, Green Bay will still be facing off against Baltimore in probably the biggest game of ours, at least till that point, guys. And that will be tomorrow. And then the Steelers, of course, back at it on Saturday. One thing that might want to concern you about that game on Sunday with the Browns is this is their Super Bowl. A lot of people forget that. Playing the Steelers is the Super Bowl for the Browns. If they win one of them games a year, they feel like they've accomplished something. And this is what they live for. They live for the last game of the year in Cleveland against the Steelers. It's their Super Bowl. They obtain retard strength whenever they play the Steelers in that game in Cleveland. And all of a sudden they end up playing some decent football. But again, it's not a concern, but it's something. It's something you got to think about again. This is the Steelers or the Browns Super Bowl this coming Sunday, guys. Look, Tater Tard's back. Oh, and I changed his name. He's not Tater Tot anymore. He's Tater Tard. Tater Tot's back. It really is. You just don't care about anything. If you don't beat the Steelers, it doesn't matter. And you know what? That's fine. Yins are the annoying, retarded little brother. We've grown to accept that. So it's all good, Tater Tard. You can hang out today. This is going to be the day that we do get into a lot of different things, guys. We have to get into the overs, the unders. We got predictions, keys to winning, all kind of things heading into this game, week 17. And I listen, I have no doubt. We're going to win this football game, Tater Tard. So run the app all you want. You're not winning your Super Bowl this year. We'll talk on Monday about all that, how that went for you. But we got a lot of things to get into today, guys. I do want to say good afternoon. Good afternoon to the great Mark Malone on the terrible board. My man, what's up? Good morning. Good afternoon to Lindsay on the terrible board. Steeler Freak John, what up, brother? Always great seeing you, man. Aaron Jade, what's up? What's up? Here we go, Steelers. That's right, baby. I love that message. I love it every day. Let's see. Let's get caught up on some messages this morning as we do get kicked off. Let me get through these messages. That we do have a lot of things to talk about, especially heading into this game. Guys, good morning to Richard. Always great seeing Richard. Tyrone, gang, my man. Always glad to see Tyrone. Feel the steel. What's up, Watt fans? Teflon Dawn sucks. Steelers 3, Poopers 2. Just another game under the Teflon Dawn, y'all. Lindsay says, hey, great to see you, Lindsay. Hope everything is well for you. Hope everybody had a great holiday. I do want to start by saying that. I'll preface the show by saying I hope everybody had a great holiday. And, again, it's a special time. It's time to see everybody. It's a lot of headaches. But I think when it's all said and done, I think it's all worth it. So I hope everybody had a great holiday. Steeler Freak John, my man, he says this National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation when the uncle says the doctor took a pint of. That's exactly what it is, John. It's unbelievable. The kids started opening the presents, and you know how that has everybody's attention. One person has the bag to collect all the wrapping paper. Somebody else is videoing. Somebody else is intently helping. And there's my dad. That doctor missed my vein 4 times this morning. Can you believe that? Here, look at this. and he looked like a damn a pincushion. I thought, what the fuck is going on with you? What is going on with you? But anyway, you slice it. Mark Malone, he says this: I'd let Wattman chill for the next 2 weeks. Steeler Freak says Detroit isn't a good team. They're not. They're really not. But I think they're better than Minnesota. I do believe that they were better than Minnesota. I think pound for pound, there's not anything that Minnesota is really better at. But you're right; it's not. They're not playing good football this year. Mark Malone says let Mason play that one for the Garrett Rudolph race war. You're right. The race war game. Steeler Freak says this: Sanders at quarterback tells me the Steelers should make it easy work of it. A Ravens loss could make the game irrelevant. You're right, John. But you know what? Again, we don't know. We don't know because now Green Bay doesn't need to win tomorrow. With Green Bay being a little beat up, quarterbacks, health issues, this could turn into a total rest weekend for the Packers. But again, Lamar Jackson is not playing. He's doubtful at the moment, very doubtful actually. So tomorrow's game just got a little bit more exciting, guys, especially for us. Let's get this win, Tyrone. I agree. I think we win this game. I really do. I really do think that we win this game. I don't think this is a difficult game for us at all, by any means at all. Even if we're not playing great football, as we weren't earlier this year, we still managed to beat the Browns. So again, they had the retard strength. Don't put that by them. They might pretend to play a good game for a while because it is the Steelers, and that's just what they do. So at the end of the day, don't expect a little bit of action in this football game. But again, I certainly expect a victory. Go Pack, go! Yeah, let's see. We'll see, man. Tyrone says hopefully they can still play well enough, even though they. I think that we could hope that maybe Baltimore is just playing that bad, which they are. They're not playing great football. Maybe Green Bay's backups could beat. Both of these teams are so one's in, and Baltimore. I mean, come on, they're living on a prayer at this point. We will see. We'll see. If it wouldn't have happened the way that it did, if Detroit won and Green Bay needed to play and needed to win, then that we could run with that narrative. But this changes it up a little bit, and it changes up the keys to the game this week because, of course, anything that I say that would be a key to the winning this particular football game would be null by the result of the game Saturday night. So for that reason, and that reason alone, it's hard to give a direct keys to the game because you just don't know which game you're going to get. Lindsay says Packers are resting their player. That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't they, right? Why wouldn't they? Tyrone says probably still can lose, though. They could. They're bad. They're not that good of a football team this year. I think we've seen that last year. Tyrone says we will see. Yinzer Nation, welcome to the terrible board. He says, let's not count the chickens just yet, boys. A cornered serpent strikes the deepest. The Browns. That's what I said. That's what I said. They have retard strength. Absolutely. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that about retards. You start poking them around and pushing them around, they're going to get you, believe me. Seems very unlikely, but that's the way that goes. Let's see. Let's take a look around a few things, guys, as we do head into the Browns Super Bowl. I'm going to go right here. Mike Tomlin, though. Coach T, 27-6 when facing rookie quarterbacks. 27-6 when facing rookie quarterbacks. Again, we're going to be facing Shitdoor Sanders this weekend. He is a rookie quarterback, and we're 27-6 under Coach T. We are only, though, which is 80%. It's over 80% winning percentage against rookies. However, Mike Tomlin in Cleveland is only 9-8-1. The retard strength. That's the only explanation. Again, I'm serious. 9-8-1, Mike Tomlin's record in Cleveland. And to make it even spicier, his last 6 games, the Steelers are 1-5. The 1-5 Steelers in the last 6 games in Cleveland. The last 6 years, I guess going into the 7th year in Cleveland, we have been 1-5. So again, not trying to worry anybody, but again, just it's probably not time to celebrate and dance just yet. We'll do all of our celebrating and dancing on Victory Monday after we beat these Brownies. But right now, as I said, guys, it's not as cut and dry as it was just yesterday at this time. As the Detroit Lions F us. Again, Minnesota beating them, that puts the Packers into the playoffs, which changed the dynamic. Again, Saturday we could have been in if the Packers would beat the Ravens. They were trying to get into the playoffs. So again, that changes the table a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. Again, guys, though, Tomlin 27-6 against rookie quarterbacks. That's over 80% winning percentage, and also 9-8-1 in Cleveland in his career, and 1-5 in his last 6. So it's again, we'll hold off the song and dance till Monday, till Victory Monday. We'll do all that then. But right now, this is what it is. We're going to get ready for this Cleveland Browns team, as we should get ready for every game, as it is the biggest game of the year, as it is ultimately an extension of the playoffs. In my opinion, the way this season is, you got to treat this game like a playoff game because you have to continue to play well. You look at a couple of things. Let's say we get the let's say we make the playoffs this week, and they decide to sit guys for long periods of time, which I hate the idea, and I hope that that's not what happens. Because again, giving guys basically 2 weeks off between week 17 and the playoffs, I think is a formula for one and done. So again, I think this has to be managed correctly. Maybe the best thing that could happen is we don't clinch the playoffs this week. No, I want to clinch the playoffs this week. It is the best thing because we can get guys healthy. But again, this has got to be played out right. It's got to be played right. First thing is first. We'll watch that game tomorrow at 8 o'clock between the Packers and the Ravens. We'll go from there, guys. Beyond that, we don't know. We know what the avenues that it could go. However, all in all, we don't know as of right now the results and what's going to happen next. And you know what? That's all right because it's way early. Wouldn't it be crazy if this Pittsburgh Steelers team, the way the things played throughout this season, ended up clinching with, in the second to last week of the NFL season? Some of these good teams have been out already for weeks. The Kansas City Chiefs have been out for a couple of weeks now. You know what I'm saying? So what a weird year. What a weird year if this Pittsburgh Steelers team could clinch after the Week 17 matchup or even before the Week 17 matchup. So, again, very interesting, guys. It's going to be a lot going on this weekend. The guys, the running backs, they swear. They say this. Our running backs swear. They say, Garrett's not setting that record against us. It ain't going to happen. And you know what? The offensive line agrees with them. And, of course, Smiles Carrots only needs a half a sack. He's a half sack, this guy, away. And that's what he has to get in the running back room. Says it ain't going to happen against us. And that's only one half sack away from tying TJ Watt and Michael Strahan all time. One sack would give him the lead all time. They have the Bengals next week, though. So I'm convinced if it doesn't happen this week, it's going to happen next week. So it be what it be. Keeping them out of the end zone. Keeping that from happening, keeping the sack from happening would be an accomplishment, I think, especially for the young offensive line, who not only is a good offensive line, this offensive line, guys, get this, this offensive line was ranked number 1 in Week 16. Number 1 in Week 16, guys. Say what you want about this group of young men that we built through the draft, basically, with the exception of, I guess, if you look at the players that were involved, but the starting offensive line usually includes Ciamala, but besides for him, everybody else was a product of the draft for the Steelers, from Frazier to McCollum to Fatanu to Broderick Jones. So again, for a young line, this is a really good season. This is a good sign of things to come for this team in the Hogs up front, as again they're playing bigger games every week, and if they can continue to excel, that would be a great sign again moving forward. But yes, the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line was number one in Week 16 was rated. And you know what? I think Aaron Rodgers took care of these guys because over the holidays, Aaron Rodgers bought every single one, not his favorite, but every offensive lineman. He bought him a new ATV. That's right. The whole entire Steeler offensive line all got new ATVs, courtesy of their quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, for Christmas. Pretty awesome stuff, guys. Keep up the good work. That's a nice way to thank your offensive line. And you know what would be a nice way to repay him back is keep him off the ground on Sunday, especially when that Smiles character's in the way or coming around. Any way you slice it, have a good game on Sunday. Say thank you. I appreciate the ATVs and continue to move on. But again, number 1, not 32, not 15. not 7, not 4. Number 1, guys. Consider that. Let's move forward a little bit as we go. You know what? Let me jump back on the board. I see some new names that has come in the meantime, and I do want to see everybody today. I have to. It's Christmas. It's like seeing Santa. Look, I got the beard. I am not going to miss anybody today. Let's start right here. Steeler Freak John says the Vikings won with a no-name quarterback. Damn right. Who is that guy? Who threw for 50 yards. Green Bay could still win with backups. The Ravens are off this year, just like the Lions. My only concern is Derrick Henry. And yeah, he's been a liability to a degree this year, but that guy could break one at any given time. When I look at these two teams matching up without their starting quarterbacks, Derrick Henry, I think, plays a big part in that. I just think that he does. And again, the Packers, I don't know how interested they are in winning this football game. He says the Ravens are off this year, just like the Lions. Bingo says, just imagine how much a retarded chimpanzee is. That is scary. Bingo, how you doing, brother? Tortilla, my man. I hope you had a great Christmas out on the West Coast. Tortilla says Mike McCarthy picked the Steelers to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, he's not the only one. And you know, the thing is, it just depends on who you're listening to. There's some people that said that they have no chance. There's some people that say they do have a chance. There's let's get through this weekend and then we'll try to figure that out a little bit more. Phyllis Steele says this. That's why he sucks in the end. Mark Malone says the Watt man could use the time. I'd give Hayward the time off too. I'll get to the injury reports in just a moment, as TJ Watt did practice on Wednesday. Wednesday. The latest practice they had, Watt is back in limited capacity. So is Nick Herbig. So those two, that is two big pieces of information, and it should be helpful for the Steelers moving forward, especially this game. You know what? But we'll get into more in TJ in just a second, because I was reading a little bit more as I was getting closer to getting everything finished this morning for the show. So we'll get into that in just a second. Tater Tard says, can't wait till Miles meets Grandpa. Oh, that's cute. I'm tired of hearing about Tater Tard's Christmas vacation. I don't know what the hell that means, but let's move on. Tater Tard says this, McCarthy ain't that bright. You know what? Tater Tard, McCarthy actually has a very good record, and he's won a Super Bowl. I just right off the top, I can stop talking right there because anything that Tater Tard says beyond that cannot trump anything that was just said about that coach. As a matter of fact, you know what? I thought about Tater Tard over the holiday. Tater Tard comes in here and he tells us all these things. He's like, oh, Yins aren't going anywhere. Yins aren't that good. Yeah. This is somebody that is a Browns fan. We've been there quite a few times. We know how this road goes, Tater Tard. If anything, you're funny. You're funny. Somebody that's a Brown fan telling a Steeler fan how things are going to turn out. Again, I don't know about that, Tater Tard, but I'm glad that you had a great holiday. I don't know what kind of weird stuff you're into, but I'm glad it went well for you. Tortilla says that'll be the highlight of your season. Ha ha ha. Winning that game. Mark Malone says got to lock up Cook in the offseason. If Cook finishes strong the rest of the way, I got to be honest with you, Broderick Jones is in big trouble. And I don't know if I can't say that I'm pissed. I mean, it took 4 years, however long it took to get Broderick Jones to this point, and he played well. But at the end of the day, if this guy comes in and plays just as well in his first 3, 4, 5 starts, you gotta really second guess that, guys. Steeler Freak says this: the offensive line is much better. A true season, absolutely. Especially compared to thinking, first game of the year, even against the Jets, it was a nice win, but the offensive line looked like crap. And even in the New England and Minnesota and Seattle games, there was a lot of problems with the offensive line. So you have to like the way this collective group of young men that is probably the future line of this team moving forward for quite a few years, how they look at this point. That's a great sign. The gelling, it's a wonderful sign. Mark Malone says this, draft a badass guard, man. You know what? For the left side, maybe, yeah. I got to be honest with you. How can you not go with the undrafted the right guard anymore? For everything that he's done and stepped in as a rookie last year, you've seen Frazier. Yeah, I mean, come on. That was the plan. We needed a center. But the way that the right guard has stepped in and played, I got to be honest with you. How can you not continue this unless something drastically terrible happens? But you got to like what the Steelers have done in the draft. And this is 3 years ago when we started to figure out what the hell we got to do next at the end of the year. The offensive line through the draft was numero uno. So the fact that they're able to do that and get this line to where it is right now, let's try to ride this thing out and see how far it can take us. Again, the offensive line for the Steelers, number 1 last week in the NFL. Field of Steel says keys to victory versus the poopers. You don't even need keys. It's the poopers. You can kick that can down the road. You don't even have to drive it. Steeler Freak says this. Cook might be the answer. He's looking good. I have no reason to disagree with you, right? Lindsay, I love Raw. You know what? He's really grown on me like a fungus, like a mushroom. He's grown on me. I was not a big fan of the Rodgers movement at first, but I do realize this is the best situation that we could have made with what was available at the time. It truly was. And what could we, think about it. Again, the know-how and just everything that this guy knows and he brings to the table. Again, yes, he's bizarre. I acknowledge that. But who isn't? And what he was able to do this year for this team was put more touchdowns on the board, score more points, get this team down the field, score in the end zone or in the red zone, get first downs. We struggled. Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't struggle in a season though? 007. What up? 007 says I want an ATV. Damn right. Hey, you know what? You could have had it. Any of you guys could have had it when we were having offensive line trouble. All you had to do is go try out. If you would have made it, you would have made it. You would have had that ATV. You would be all around here on Christmas. Tortilla says, would be crazy if Anderson and Cook are starters next, But you know what? Down the stretch, guys, what are these guys doing? We're winning. Who was it when we weren't winning? The other guys. I'm just saying. This is December. We haven't lost. We've won 3 in a row. Mark Malone, in the glove box of those side-by-sides are a few boxes of Rodgers special sniffers. Hey, see the offensive line hit them sniffers and it just take off on the trails. Let's go right here. Steeler Freak says Duggar and JP might be the next year's starters on defense. Also, diamonds in the rough. You wanted me to tell you something a little interesting about JPJ? I didn't want to do this right at this moment, but you know what, John? You've brought it up, so I'm going to do it right this second. I have an interesting group of numbers that I want to go through real quick here that it's going to make you smile as a Steeler fan. I don't know if it's going to make Tyrone smile because I do know that Tyrone, he was a big advocate for JPJ going to the Pro Bowl. However, I do think I have it. Here it is. Get this, guys. This was the numbers this year. Now, you got to remember, Patrick Surtain was the defensive player of the year in the NFL last year. Patrick Surtain, second, out in Denver was the defensive player of the year last year. Let's compare Joey Porter Jr. to Patrick Surtain's numbers this year. Coverage snaps, Joey Porter Jr. 509 to Surtain's 503. So I think that it's safe to go even on this. We're going to say that's even. They played roughly the same amount of games, a 6-game difference. Or 6-snap difference, the same amount of snaps. 6-snap difference between two teams in different games. That's pretty damn close. So the targets against Porter, 57. 51 targets against Surtain. 27 receptions allowed by Porter. 26 receptions allowed by Surtain. 47.4 percentage allowed by Porter, completion percentage. 51 completion percentage allowed by Surtain. Joey Porter, 288 yards allowed. Patrick Surtain, 264 yards allowed. Yards per target allowed, 5 on JPJ, 5.2. 5.2 for Surtain. JPJ, 5 passes broken up. Surtain, 9. 9 passes broken up. Joey Porter, it says he doesn't have there it is. Okay, an interception. He has an interception. And Surtain has a interception. And finally, passer rating allowed. JPJ, 55.3. Patrick Surtain, 64.5. So all in all, Joey Porter Jr. played better number-wise, statistic-wise, than Patrick Surtain did last year. And Patrick Surtain is, again, the reigning defensive player of the year. So maybe Tyrone does have an argument. he was, he was adamant the other day after they announced the All Pro picks, the Pro Bowl picks. I'm sorry, that we got screwed. The Joey Porter got the snub. And you know what? I'm looking at the numbers from the guy that won Defensive Player of the Year last year. You know what? And his numbers are just as good or better. So again, the league can be a popularity contest. We know this. It's the way that pro sports play out sometime, and especially when you have fan voting involved. Which again, do you want to take a vote away from the fan, or do you want to let them be involved and things like this happen? So again, it's a slippery slope, and I would have liked to see Joey Porter there. No two ways about it. But we understand the way the game is, and like I said, once he gets in the cycle, he's going to be hard to get out, as TJ Watt is right now. TJ Watt is in that cycle. Obviously, not a Pro Bowl year, but once you get in that cycle, it's hard to get the guys out. We've seen over the years many times that played out. Guys that are just past their prime continue to get selected on the Pro Bowl team because again, that's just you're recognized. You know, people know you as the good whatever linebacker, the good DB, whatever the case may be. Let's get back on the board. Yeah, let's go right here. What's good, fellas? What's up, dude? What's up? Always great seeing the Vegas on the board. The great Vegas. Vegas, I hope all went well for you for the holidays, sir. Next one on the list is the big New Year's. The New Year's is next, guys. Steeler Freaks is Tater Wet Fart. Tater Wet Fart. I like it. Phil the Steel says if we have a cook, let him cook. That's right. You can't. Let's just say Broderick comes back healthy this week. Is there any way in the world you could pull Cook and put Broderick Jones back in there, especially at this point in the season? Maybe if we get the playoffs clinched, I don't know. But again, just to get the guy reps for crying out loud. But at this point, I don't go away from Cook. I just don't. Mark Malone, bro, Buster sucks. He hasn't played as well as Cook ever. John says, I got a whiff of Ryan's Christmas turkey after that burp. Bingo. He says, LOL, I'm 45 years old. I weigh 185 pounds. I wouldn't make the line on a high school team. It was the thought that counted, though, man. Just think, though, Dylan Cook. Where was this guy at a month ago? He now has himself a new ATV by way of Aaron Rodgers. Pretty cool. Tater Thought Tortilla saying, I like that as well. Steeler Freak says this: if JPJ can address his heavy hands, he would be a law. I agree, man. And it just makes you wonder: can it be done? We said that about Ike Taylor all those years. This guy just catch the ball. You're one of the best DBs in the league. You were one of the best cornerbacks in the league, but it just never happened. So again, we don't know. I know that Joey Porter's tackling got better. That's an improvement. That's a plus. Certainly this year from last year, and last year from the year before, and from this year to his rookie year, it's a whole different player as far as tackling. So I mean, that's a plus. Maybe stick around, catch some balls at the end of practice. I don't know. How do you fix that? Just make the guy catch more. If that's not the fix, then I don't know how to fix the guy. Lindsay, JPJ has done. He really has. And as we was reading the numbers, I mean, come on, that's the same numbers as last year's Defensive Player of the Year. Again, I don't have last year's numbers for Patrick Surtain, but again, the numbers I have in front of me, it's matching. So, it be what it be, guys. Let's see. Defensive pass interferences. Yinzer Nation answer. Steeler Freak. He says less pass interferences as well. I don't have it in front of me, but that sounds right. It sounds right, right? I'm not complaining about his pass interferences as much this year. Hey guys, can I take let me put a quick. I want to put a quick. Let me slide something in here real quick. Just go back to the Detroit game real quick on pass interference. I just want to make one thing very clear. I'm listening to these Detroit Lions wide receivers over the holiday. I'm reading these articles, and this is what's being said. They've never heard of the rule that they wouldn't get another play after that penalty to end the game. So not only are the fans not that bright up there, the players are just as dumb. What is one thing you know as a football fan? Or if you've even played any kind of Pop Warner football, you know this. The game can't end on a defensive penalty. That's the rule. That's the rule. The offensive penalty, game over. And for wide receivers in the NFL to say they didn't know this was a rule is unbelievable to me. And the fact that their dumb fans are just as dumb and they fought this argument all week long. And then they're going to come on here and tell us that we don't know what we're talking about. The fact of the matter is the game can't end on a defensive penalty. That's cut and dry. That's just has always been that way. Offensive penalty, yes, the game ends. There's no ifs, ands, ors, buts. There's no second pages. There's no footnotes, nothing. If there's an offensive penalty to end the game, as you've seen many times in your life, the game is over. For whatever reason, Detroit must have missed this. They must have missed that class that day because they still did the quote. The quote that I got. Never heard of that rule. Never heard of that rule. So again, come on, guys. Get with it. Get with it up in Michigan, everybody. You got all season to recover. You'll be all right. Let's get back at the terrible board here, though. I'm going to go right here where Lindsay says JPJ has had a lot of penalty. Hasn't had a lot of penalty. I agree. I mean, a handful of times I could think of myself. I can remember bitching. But now that I'm thinking about it, it wasn't often. And we do that on the overs and unders every Friday. We the pass interference overs and unders, and he just it doesn't add up every week. So again, he's certainly doing better. Absolutely. And again, with his tackling, with his coverage, with all these other numbers, we have a nice shutdown corner, and we do. It just is what it is again. Let's see. We're going to go right here. Yinzer Nation says this. JPJ, 56 penalty yards. Patrick Surtain, 82. So there goes that narrative. Throw that out the window. JPJ didn't make the All-Pro game, the Pro Bowl game, because his penalty yards. But again, he has less penalty yards than the reigning Defensive Player of the Year in Surtain. Tyrone says JPJ best DB in the league. If he's not, he's getting there. Again, I would like to see them hands improving. And again, I don't understand how this can continue to be a problem as Shaquille O'Neal having problems with free throws 15 years into his career. There's just some things you can't fix as Shaq's free throw shooting ability. And I hope that JPJ's catching ball ability isn't the same way, because again, at the end of the day, you could certainly be one of the best corners in the league if you can start picking more passes off. I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying this could certainly raise his stock and have him probably in that Pro Bowl every year if that number starts going up just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let's say JPJ had 3 interceptions instead of 1. That looks a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So again, stick around after practice, catch some balls, go out with dad, do what you got to do, man. Tyrone, it's not even close. He clamps tackles. Dude, his tackling is night and day compared to what it was. Night and day. It was these weak arm tackle, kind of try to push. He gets in. He gets his head in there. He has nice form. He watches the hips. He goes after it's wonderful to watch Joey Porter tackle people nowadays. Now I say that, watch, he'll screwing up on Sunday, but the point is, I'm very, very impressed by the way he's improved in that area, and it's a good sign. Again, some people can't learn. Some people can't improve for whatever reason. My example would be Shaquille O'Neal again with his free throws. But at the end of the day, you do see where Joey certainly has improved to this point, and I think he can certainly continue to improve. Just get out. It's Christmas. You had the day off. Go out and catch with senior out in the yard. Whatever you got to do again to catch those balls. Tyrone says it's not even close. He clamped, but better clutch as fuck. Never given up a talk. Come on, that's unbelievable, right? Let's see. Hey, Tater Tard's back. He says, personally, Hughes should rest Grandpa this week. He might get injured. Miles is all right, whatever. Kenneth says this. Hello, fellas. What's up, Kenneth, on the board? My man, Kenneth Jones. Always great seeing Kenneth Jones. I hope you had a great holiday as well. Tyrone says 24 is him. You're right, man. Every week he's getting better. Lindsay says if we clinch, we will rest who we want to. Yeah, you're right. I just hope they're smart about it. That's all. Sometimes we can be a little lax. Again, go back to our preseason, why it took us about a month to get in the full swing, I think. I think our preseason was mishandled, but that's just my opinion. Um, you got to get reps. You got to get out there. Don't matter if you've been in the league 100 years. You're still a human being, and them guys are really fast across from you. So again, I think the reps are they're very valuable. Steeler Freak says this: JB Che is doing well, and it's great news. The Steelers secondary might finally be fixed after years of hits and misses. I love it. And you know what? When I found out he was coming out of Penn State, I knew we were going to get him. Come on, there wasn't a doubt in my mind that we wasn't going to get Joey Porter. And the fact the way that it played out, we got him on that first pick of the second round, which ended up basically being the last pick of the first round or some. And I just knew he was coming here. You just knew it. I knew it. Kenneth says, even if they didn't hear of that rule, didn't cross the goal line and forward progress. But I think they wanted a whole nother play. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's what they're arguing, is they should have had a whole nother play. So it's a double-edged being wrong. Is basically what they had. So yes, the touchdown where he picked the ball up, that all didn't play out in your favor, and obviously the true rule didn't play out in their favor. So again, they're still trying to figure football out in Detroit. Hey, don't worry about it, Detroit. It's only 2025. You'll get it. It's still early. You've only been around 1,000,000 years. Mark Malone says, if you live in Detroit, I've got to question your intelligence. Well, I don't know. I think I know a couple people from Michigan that are okay, but you know what? You might be right. I don't know. Mark Malone says, or Dearborn. Yeah. And that's a whole conversation for a whole nother day. Tyrone says this: no worries. He's Soham, man, the best lockdown DB, better stats than Patrick Surtain. It is. Where are we wrong? Ty, tell us where we're wrong. Steeler Freak says they don't need much on D for next week. I would look at replacing Queen and beef up the defensive line. Let's see, the Ole Isaacs, maybe. With the respect to DK Metcalf, this is little open the doors for MVS and other receivers we got from Minnesota. They're going to have a big. I agree. It's going to be an interesting game, though. It truly is. I think that this Cleveland-Pittsburgh game is going to be interesting in a lot of ways. And it all depends on how Saturday night goes. Green Bay wins this game, I just throw everything that we talked about out the window. And you know what? Again, let's get some rest. Let's get some guys healthy. But again, at the end of the day, Baltimore wins. We have to play a meaningful game on Sunday, and possibly the next week if things don't go well against Cleveland. So again, guys, Saturday, the biggest game of the year for the Steelers is Saturday night at this point. I do want to say welcome to the Terrible Board, and I also do want to say hope you had a great holiday as well. Kenneth says that was that B? Fourth down anyway? Right. Lions suck, Cody says. Hey, what's up, Cody? Brother, I hope you had a great holiday. My man, he says Lions suck. Steeler Freak says, I don't get too excited about the Lions win. I don't either. If the Lions were playing well, it would be a different kind of conversation. Yes, I was excited because we beat a good team. However, I'm clumping it all together, John, with just they're playing better every week. They're again. Have we won 3 games in a row yet this year? Maybe really early. Have we again? So again, 3 weeks in a row, we're able to win an important game. Did the Ravens play great? No, they shit the bed, but that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, it was a big game, division head-to-head. It meant a lot. We went into their trap and we beat them. Is it important that Miami is out of the playoffs? It isn't important that Miami's out of the playoffs because coming into the game against them, they were on a rushing terror. And we not only stopped it, I mean, we not only did we stop it, we embarrassed them. And again, Detroit, are they? No, they're not. But again, with the guys they have, they could win football games. Yes, they're not good this year, but you still have Gibbs and Montgomery and Goff and St. Brown and the whole crew. So just as a whole, you found ways to win these 3 particular games that were 3 important games. That if they didn't win, we would be bitching and saying, "This, come on, you got to beat this team. Come on, you ain't going to go to the Super. You're going to win in the playoffs if you don't beat the Dolphins. You're not going to have any success in January if you didn't beat the Lions." So we're doing the things that we need to do, guys. How could they get another down? That was you're right. Well, they were hoping for the penalty. They were hoping that it was a penalty and they would have got one more play. Is what I think that they were hoping for. And again, it's the defense that you can't end the game on a defensive penalty. I thought everybody knew, but apparently they didn't. Let's see. Yeah. Tater tart is spells like my 9-year-old. I got to be honest with you. Lions were robbed. Explain to me where, please, and I'll explain to you how you don't know football. Because again, there's nothing that robbed the Lions besides them just not playing good enough to beat us. An offensive pass interference ends the game. If it was against us, that game continues. So let that help. William Dunford, he says, what's up, Steeler Nation? New follower. Always great to see new guys, new peeps on the Terrible Board. What's up, William Dunford, 9654. Hope you had a great holiday. Welcome to the Terrible Board. Kenneth Jones says, could we have declined the yeah, we could have. And Kenneth also says, if so, game exactly. The fact of the matter is that they had no way to win. It was kind of circusy the way that it looked, and I think that's where the debate comes and the controversy. Oh my God, look at the Steelers! No, it ain't even like that, yo. It didn't play out in your favor. The penalty couldn't save you. Nothing could save you. You lost. Go home. Go home, Detroit. Go home. What else can we get into today? Guys, I want to talk to you about the importance of Derek Harmon. In case you didn't understand, and I think you do, guys, Derek Harmon, listen to this. Derek Harmon this year with 5 games in the 10 games that Derek Harmon played. 10 games that Derek Harmon played. Get this, 10. The Steelers gave up 879 yards total in that period of time. Those 10 games, 879, which is a total of 87.9 yards per game. In the 5 games that Derek Harmon didn't play, the defense gave up 828 yards, almost the same amount as what they gave up in 10 games, in only 5 games. Without Harmon, 5 games, 828 yards, and that's 165.6 yards a game. Tell me this rookie ain't special. That changes the whole defense. With everybody you have on this defense, that one player, we'll talk about 1-11, 3-11, whatever the what record is. But guys, this year, these numbers are staggering. With Harmon in those 10 games, again, they've only given up 879 yards for 87.9 per game. And again, without Derek Harmon in the lineup, those 5 games, 828 yards, 165.6. Mark Malone, you ain't kidding. Come on. And a lot of times when you don't get that sexy pick, you're pissed. And a lot of fans are. They want the receiver that's going to make the big plays and the quarterback and everything else. But I got to be honest. This is one of the biggest. This might have been the best pick we could have made this year in the first round. Look at the difference on the run stop. Look at that difference. That's unbelievable, and in a great way. We'll take it. But Yinzer Nation says Harmon made Swell look like a bum. Hell of a pick, Mark Malone says. Kenneth says Harmon doesn't get home much, but secures the wall. Dude, I love these young guys. You got to like where we're going. The Derek Harmons and the Darnell Washingtons are just so much I love to see. And Joey Porter Jr. and the whole way down the list. So again, yes, getting the playoffs is big. Yes, getting that win, making a run is big. But just knowing that this team is continuing to move in the right direction now, it's a big sign as well, especially as we're going to be starting to look for a franchise quarterback, over these next couple of years. Yeah, it's inevitable. So the offensive line is of great importance, and so is that defensive line, guys. You started with the trenches. That's where Philadelphia started building whenever they started their runs about 5 years ago, however long it's been. It was all started within on that interior line, and guys, it makes such a difference. I understand the pick's not sexy and it's hard to get excited, but get excited now because it's a 100-yard difference per game. Not just in 1, not just in 2, but on the season, that's how it played out. Kenneth says this, Harmon Black Benton will be fine when Cam leaves. I agree. And you know what? I think Keanu Benton's really stepped up. I wasn't thrilled with him over the past couple years, but he's having a career year in his own right. And Black, come on. Who doesn't love why he Black? And this guy's only going to get better. Cody says whether the Browns lose or win, they're still paying Deshaun $45 million next year. Again, the Browns are going to Brown, baby. I love it. I don't know what I would do without him. That's all I got to be. That's all I got to say. No matter how down we are on our team, you got to be thankful for the Browns, right? Cody Yinzer Nation says this. Harmon made Swell look like, okay, we did get that one. Let's get into some more things, guys. Some more things. This is something that your quarterback did and something that your quarterback accomplished. Aaron Rodgers, after week 16, collectively through his career, owns the lowest interception rate in NFL history amongst quarterbacks with a minimum of 1,500 passes, which means you've been around for a while. You qualify because, again, you don't throw 1,500 passes if you ain't any good. Guys, Aaron Rodgers, after this week 16, take the numbers of every game and every play he's played, he owns the lowest interception rate in NFL history, guys. He threw 8,657 passes in his career, and only 123 of them were intercepted. That is a 1.42 interception rate, which is unbelievable. And again, that is your quarterback heading into it seems like the playoffs. Again, a lot of football left to be played. I'm not counting my chickens entirely. I might be gazing over and keeping track of how many there are, but I'm not counting them just yet. Again, I don't want to jinx anybody here. So that's just how it is playing out. Cody says, how fortunate that we are in the division with the two Ohio. Very fortunate. We'll take it. Let's see what else we do got here. And let me get into this. Let me get into the personnel moves because some things did happen over the past couple of days. The Steelers did sign. They did sign cornerback Trey Flowers. So again, another quality DB added to the 53-man roster. So Trey Flowers is on the team right now on the active roster. Also, interesting to me, when Aaron Rodgers, our quarterback, came into the league many, many, many years ago, Deion Sanders was in the league. And now here we are, 2025, Aaron Rodgers still in the league, and he's going up against rookie Shedeur Sanders. It's kind of funny. It didn't dawn on me. I seen that. I was reading something that said that, and I thought, wow, that's true. He was there for dad and son. I don't think that he had many, if any, because he was behind Favre, how that went early in his career. But at the end of the day, being in the career for both Deion and Shedeur, kind of an interesting thing. And also, I do want to pull this. This is the most up-to-date injury list that we do have. This is of Christmas Day. This was released. And then we'll take a quick look at what the Browns have going on their injury list. This is our injury list as of yesterday. The Steelers did not practice, but this was the list, guys. So the latest practice they had, limited, of course, TJ Watt back with his partially collapsed lung. He is back to limited. Nick Herbig with his hammy, he is back to being limited practice. Isaac Seumalo limited with his triceps. James Pierre also encouraging. He is back with his calf to limited. And Cam had his day off for rest. Back to full practice. Aaron Rodgers with his wrist. Jalen Warren with his hip. Ben Skoranek with his hand. Christian Kuntz with his knee. And Troy Fautanu back to full practice. But a surprise here, guys. Of course, we knew that Calvin Austin, he got hurt last week. He is not practicing with his hamstring. Brandon Echols with his groin did not practice. And finally, this one here, guys, it may be a concern, but we'll see how this week plays out. Jalen Ramsey, he did not practice with his he was sick. So he's got whatever's going around this league and some players are dealing with right now. Jalen Ramsey did not practice as of their last practice. So that is our updated injury report at the time. Guys, it could be worse. We're getting healthier. You know, I mean, there's this and that. And again, Jalen getting sick. But at the end of the day, I think we are getting healthier. As far as the Browns go, Shedeur Sanders with his right finger, he did have a full practice the last practice they had. Guys with the limited practice were Winston Reed, back linebacker with his back. Rashawn Jenkins, a safety with his ankle. Miles Harden, cornerback with his shoulder. Mike Hall Jr., illness, defensive lineman. Grant Delpit also with his groin is out. And then Tevin Jenkins is also in that list. And the people that are hurt that will be has been practicing and should be participating. Denzel Ward, cornerback with his calf. Mason Graham, defensive tackle with his rib. Carson Schlesinger, the linebacker with an ankle. Sam Kamara with an elbow. Wyatt Teller, offensive lineman with his calf. Tyson Campbell, cornerback with his shoulder. And Joey Petonio with his offensive lineman with his knee. So those guys are hurt, but who isn't hurt this time of the year? So I don't look too much into that. But I do know that they're generally healthy. We're generally healthy. We're going to play a football game on Sunday, and we're going to hope that our guys come out of this game healthy. And again, if the Packers end up finding a way to win against the Ravens tomorrow night, I do think that we will be getting a lot healthier because we will now have time to do that, to rest our players and get healthy. Let's go right around here, jump back in. Right here, Cody says, I can't even make fun of the Browns anymore. I trash on the whole state of Ohio. And rightfully so. They deserve it. If anybody deserves it, it's them. Steeler Freak says this. The Steelers might not need to wait for a rookie quarterback. A veteran might want to come play if the team is only missing. You're right. You might get a quarterback who's a veteran. It just depends on how the Steelers want that to play out. I mean, I can imagine that Aaron could come back next year. Absolutely. I could see that happening, which would buy us a whole nother year. And then again, if you draft, if whatever way you go, what do you guys think real quick? And I'm not even going to get into this, but just throw some quick opinions on the board. What do you guys think about Joe Burrow? I know that he's an injury liability, and I know that's a lot of money paid out to somebody that if they get hurt, you don't have them on the field, you lose out. You know, that's a lot of cash. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested? Would you be interested in the Joe Burrow experience here in Pittsburgh? Again, a lot of money's tied up in that deal, so he's got to be you hope he's playing. I would love to have Joe Burrow here. I just don't know if the guy could stay healthy. That is a big issue. Because again, if we don't have him, you have that money spent, and now you're trying to find guys to replace him, fill in, do other things, and you're kind of, you get your hands tied. So again, I would love to have the player. Don't love the way that things turn out for him for the most part. So I would love it, but I'm a big no on that. I really am. Big no on that. Lindsay says this: has Shador played an AFC game? I don't know. I don't know what the hell he's played, but he might not have. Let's see. Tater Tart. He says, just stay out of Ohio, Picks Pukers. Ty Rhodes says, Ryan, I got my J-Ram. Indeed, bro, that's so exciting. You know what? I'm excited for you because I was talking to my boy, my son, and him and his girl, they're heading up to the game as well on Sunday. So I hope that everybody has a great time. Tyrone got his J-Ram. I would go Jalen Ramsey in this game just because. Or, you know, I don't know. What would you do? Now the DK had just went on. Maybe I'd go with my DK shirt. Maybe I'd go with my DK jersey just because of everything that went on. Either one, I don't think you could lose on that, Tyrone. Both good players. Great players, in my opinion. Tater Sanders. Tortilla says Tater Sanders. I like it. Mark Malone, can't trust a guy that looks that weird. Joe Breezy is what Tortilla's saying. He's a weird-looking cat, man. Children of the Corn, weird. Let's see. No give Howard a shot. Phil is saying, which I ultimately agree. Would I love a healthy Joe Burrow to be here? I would love a healthy Joe Burrow to be here. Yes, but he had the Bengals in the Super Bowl after after how long? So again, he is that good, but he is not that healthy, and that's been the problem with him. So again, that's a hard no for me. Only on that reason. Only on that reason. Phil still says no. Okay, Kenneth says let's find our dynasty guy. I agree. We got to do it sooner or later. We've only been kicking this can down the road for a half dozen years. We got to make a move sometime, right? Tortilla, I will take Joe B. Again, if he could stay healthy, I would too. Bingo says Joe Burrow is a head case. He's the kid who started crying and takes his ball and goes home. Howard is better than Burrow for cheaper anyway. Yinzer Nation says trade Watt for Burrow. There's one for you. There's one for you. Think about that for a minute. Trade Watt for Burrow. You're basically getting the same situation. It's a lot of money. When they're good, they're damn good. But again, a lot of and TJ's, his injuries have went down, but you get the point. I'm gonna go right here to Tortilla. He says this: we got a better O line than the Bengals, and when Burrow is healthy, he is easily a top 3 quarterback. And I agree, we do have a better offensive line. Tyrone says, yeah, I would go J Ram, dude. Or hold on, let me see. You know what? I would wear DK just to get them rowdy up there because they're they'll see, they're like, oh, DK, why don't you punch somebody? You know what I mean? So Cleveland people will be annoyed. They'll be fun about it. Just depends on what you want to deal with, I guess. Field of Steel says Watt got his Steeler for life contract. Boom. Lindsay says yes, Field of Steel. Tater Tard says this: Bungles turned down 4 firsts from Miami for him. Well, again, they're from your state, so I don't give them much credit. I don't really, for one, pay too much attention to what goes on in your state. But when I do, I notice it's usually stupid. And, whatever you just said, all right. Kenneth says this: if Joe is that good, why hasn't he done it with one of the best? Because he's not healthy. The dude has so much trouble staying on that field. Because when he is in there, them guys put up numbers, man. The defense is really bad. The offense, because they have other problems. And you know what a part of that is, Kenneth, as well, is the money that's being sucked up by him. You can't get your offensive line right. You can't get your defense right. And we're in the same situation with, we say Watt. If you get rid of Watt, can you bring in 3 quality starters for other places? Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same situation on that, guys. Why is Watt having the greatest season? We brought in all this help. We have all these big names. So again, it really plays out to, again, I think both of these guys are massive players in this league, but again, they're the same exact situation. You're going to pay a lot of money out. If you don't get the production out of them, then you start to question, is this even worth it? And I feel that both of those guys are in that same category. Armac, what's up, brother? Always great seeing the great Armac on the terrible board. Armac, Tyrone says TJ back. He is limited. He was limited at practice, and I do know that they were talking about maybe give him another week off. But again, especially after what's gone down over the past 24 hours, and is also going to be in effect tomorrow through the 8 o'clock game, that goes into play too, I think, as far as what you're going to do with him. Lindsay says we're DK. And I'm totally cool with DK or J-Ram, dude. Either one of them is awesome jerseys, in my opinion, and I would love to have either one of them. But it all depends on what you want to deal with at the stadium. Cody says we're DK. Armac says or Watt. Armac says trade Watt for Bro. Never. Not even if there's a fire, he says. Right, Ryan. Also, Field of Steel says the only one who got to be traded is the Teflon Dawn. Tortilla says, bro, they have the worst defense in the league. That's why the 1 year Burrow had a good defense. They went to the Super Bowl. But it's tricky again, though, too. Once you give that guy that contract, those other positions, you'd like to have a good defense, right? Why don't they? I mean, the money's just not there to bring in the quality players, apparently, or just Ohio teams just continue to be terrible, as they always are, and that's never going to change. It certainly hasn't changed in my lifetime. As we pointed out the other day, last show, the last time the Steelers lost twice in a season to the Cleveland Browns, get this. You might want to grab a seat, everybody. 1988. 1988 was the last time the Browns beat the Steelers twice in a season. We play them twice every year. 37 years ago was the last time the Browns beat the Steelers twice in the same year. Okay, people will say, well, they didn't play for 3 years in the 90s. Okay, whatever. They didn't play for 3 years in the 90s. So we'll call it 34 years since the last time that the Browns had beat the Steelers twice in the same season. So it be what it be. That's why it just is what it is. Some things never change, and this is one of them. Let's get back on here and see what else is going on. We were talking about this offense a little bit. Aaron Rodgers, with his record, yes, he is. He has the best interception rate for a quarterback in all of history, guys. Again, one more time, quarterbacks. He has the lowest interception rate in NFL history, minimum 1,500 throws. He threw 8,657 passes in his career. Only 123 of them were interceptions, guys. That is a 1.42 best ever. That's your quarterback. That's your veteran. That's your future Hall of Fame. Green Bay's future Hall of Famer. We'll give him that. But he's here now. He's helping us out, and let's see if we could continue to win. Again, guys, not losing in December it's totally foreign to us. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun right now. The fun continues through this weekend, guys, as the Pittsburgh Steelers do make the short trip up the Turnpike to Cleveland to play the Browns on Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Steelers are 4.5-point favorites in this Week 17 matchup with the Browns. Packers and Baltimore tomorrow, though. Big game. And again, no, it's not looking like Lamar. No Lamar. He's doubtful. Doubtful on Friday usually is a no-go. And also Green Bay clinching their playoff spot yesterday with the Minnesota win over Detroit. Does that change? How does that change the dynamic of what's going on? So best thing we can do is watch this game tomorrow. I hope for the best. Hope that Baltimore shits the bed as they've been doing all year. And when we could wrap this thing up, start getting healthy, go do the Browns thing, whatever that, at that point, who cares what the Browns got going on? And then just get guys healthy, get ready for January. Let's jump back on the board. Armax has got it. He was never traded to another family. It feels okay. Here we go with the mafia. The mafia talk. Phil says this. Who F is Gaudy? I'm going with the trade chat. Ain't going nowhere. Bingo. Could we trade Uncle Tomlin to that cards for Harrison Jr.? I'd take that. And Lindsay says Burrow also fought so hard to keep chasing. You know what the thing is? It's so unfortunate. I would love to watch Joe Burrow be healthy. It's just unfortunate he's a Bengal. I don't want to see him healthier. I would rather not. Again, he's good. He's really good. And if he was playing somewhere else, I would be rooting for him more. I do like watching Joe play when he's healthy. I remember in LSU and in college, and oh man, the kid it was beyond special. So whatever happens to him, but I agree, guys. At the end of the day, I don't think you spend all that money on Joe Burrow anyway. If you are, go for somebody that's youthful and maybe get that rookie contract. I think a lot of times that goes such a long way. You don't have to pay as much money. Tortilla, I can't wait for the day Tomlin does move on and everyone still blames him. So true. Tortilla, Lindsay says, let's see what else we got here on the day. So I got through the injury list. We did, as I said, we signed Trey Flowers, the cornerback, to the 53-man roster also over the past, I think, maybe Wednesday. We might have done that, but he is now also on the team. Another cornerback to add. There's no way that anybody should be passing on this secondary. I got to be honest with you, with all the people that we brought in over the past 12 months, for sure. Improving this secondary, guys, is with the names and the people and the talent and the Samuels and the Ramseys and the Porters and and you know what? It's actually the personnel is so good. You had to cut Darius Slay, who wasn't playing great football, but again, you know what I mean? He's still he won a Super Bowl as a cornerback in Philly last year. So again, what else we got here? We do got this. I did mention that the Steelers' offensive line was number one in the NFL in Week 16. Let's jump over to let's get in this one, but I don't want to leave the offense until I say this. We'll say this about Aaron Rodgers, and then we will jump over to the defense and talk a little bit about what's going on over there. Aaron Rodgers, get this, guys. There are currently 7 quarterbacks that are sitting in playoff spots in the AFC. There's 7 right now as we speak. Not all clinched, but in these spots. And it looks a little something like this. Josh Allen, C.J. Stroud, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix, and Drake May. A combined 10 wins in the playoffs. Combined 10 wins. Aaron Rodgers, 11 wins in the playoffs in his career. Our quarterback has more wins than every single one of the AFC teams sitting in playoff spots as we speak. Aaron Rodgers, again, 11 playoff wins in his career. Allen, Stroud, Lawrence, Herbert, Nix, and May, a total of 10. Just an interesting side note. I thought that was cool. Steeler Freak says, at this point, I blame Rooney. Phil says, can't wait. And Yinzer Nation says, can't wait for Watt to retire so we can finally win a playoff game. Hey. Lindsay, I had nothing to do with that one, Lindsay, but it was said. Let's see. Right here. The Old Isaac says this, says, oh yeah, don't get me wrong, the Browns are going to come up to play. Straight up Steels are still going to win. Steelers are still going to win. They are going to win 5. Absolutely. And again, as I said earlier, this is their Super Bowl. There's nothing that Cleveland wants more to beat the Browns. And let me tell you, let me give you an example of how ridiculous they are. Listen to this. About 10 years or so ago, I was up at a Cavaliers game. My son was really into the in the NBA. He was when he was in high school, he played basketball. So we went up to watch the Cavs play. And when the opposite team, when the away team shoots free throws at Cleveland, they do two things. They either put a pitcher to get you to start booing and freaking out to throw off their free throw shooter. They'll either put a picture of the Steeler logo up on the board. Wait a minute. This is an NBA game between the Cavs and whoever they were playing at Miami at the time. And when you're shooting your free throws, they put the Steelers sign, the logo, up on the Jumbotron to get everyone booing, or they put a picture of Big Ben Roethlisberger up on their Jumbotron to get everybody booing. Isn't that kind of, come on. How sad. How sad. That's like if you can't get come on, you can't get up enough for your team. Listen, that's like us on the goal line and you want the crowd to get loud and you put a picture of, I don't know, Mr. Rogers or somebody that, in Pittsburgh that would be a great Michael Keaton, whoever the case may be. It's kind of pathetic in a way. Again, the NBA has nothing to do with the Steelers, but yet they put the Steelers logo up. That's where they're at. And to say that they're not like that, they're crazy. They're nuts. That's all that matters to the Browns fans is this Super Bowl for them. Again, the Cleveland Browns game. I think LeBron was LeBron was playing for Miami at the time. So you're right. And also they were sticking up Michigan logos as well, which of course, if you're an Ohio State fan, you have this weird dislike for Michigan conference, whatever, high school, whatever the fuck they think is important over there. But this is what goes on in Cleveland. They can't get enough excitement for their teams. They have to take these weird situations. Again, Ben Roethlisberger, Michigan, to get you excited. Can you just give up already? I mean, no, I don't want them to give up. I do love the Browns. They can't go anywhere. They are, again, something that will always make you feel better about yourself, no matter what is going on in your life. Let me see what else is going on over here. That was offense. Tony Dungy. We all respect Tony Dungy, and I love Tony Dungy. Don't get me wrong. Tony Dungy was a former Steeler. He was in that Super Bowl that what was it? No. What was he? Maybe it was the first. Was he the first black coach to win? Whatever it was important. And I always loved and respected Tony Dungy. Get this, guys. Let me ask you something. This is a comment that was made by him, and I don't think he's wrong. I just kind of need your opinion. Tony Dungy said that DK looked a little bit like GP 2.0. So with that being said, you guys still like the DK pickup? Because again, I mean, you knew he had issues, but again, he got mature and he was in the league for quite some time. And again, I don't see this being a continuous problem, but could we have had the same problem if we would have kept GP around? What do you guys think about this DK situation? I think he's got his punishment. I think he's going to serve, and I think everything is going to move forward. And I think the guy's an asshole, the fan, and I think that he does this all the time. And I think that the proof was in the video. After the situation happened, and he said, "I got him," or whatever the hell he screamed out. GP 2.0 I think that particular thing was, but again, at the end of the day, I think with GP, there's a lot more that comes out than what DK at this particular point in his career. Again, with penalties, stupid plays, giving up on plays. Those are things that you've seen by GP certainly throughout the course of the season. DK had this one particular incident. Was it bad? Yes, absolutely. But at the end of the day, guys, I like the DK pickup. And again, you'll never hear me complaining about losing George. You just won't. I don't think I think the moment was a George 2.0, but I say that the experience with DK Metcalf has been it's been delightful. You know, again, he would have finished roughly with 1,000 yards had he been able to finish this season. But again, GP 2.0, I don't think, and I do. Again, I love Tony Dungy, and I always have. Let's jump back on the board here. End of days. End of days says this 38-10 Steelers. I like it. I do have my guess. I'll put it up here as well as we wrap up the show here in a little bit. Mark Malone says this if Tomlin's $165 million defense can live up to its billing, we should jizz on all those teams in the playoffs. You're right. Tortilla says Steelers are going to win by 800 points. 800 points. Lindsay says, because Watt is the reason we haven't won a playoff game, which is crazy as well. I think, Lindsay, I think we could all agree on that. I think people like to say it because it's true, but what could Watt have done? What could Watt, the individual, have done in all those games that weren't even close? I'm just saying. But it will be something that you do hear people use against Watt. Tortilla says they put a picture of LeBron. Yeah, right. When they win. Well, how weird. What a weird little village up there. Yinzer Nation, he says, Watt is the big reason why we haven't won one sack in the postseason. It doesn't seem like anybody had great numbers, though. It doesn't seem like anybody in those particular, I mean, come on, playoff games haven't been pretty for the Steelers. I think we're reaching a little too far to press the Watt issue. Yes, he has to perform. Yes, he has to show up. Yes, he's got to produce. But there's a 53-man team. Tyrone says Watt ain't. Phil still says when they put Watt highlights, that's he's back final week. Heinz Field is going to be so freaking nuts. It's and that's the thing we got to remember too. Let's just say it does come down to the final week. It's in Pittsburgh, guys. No Lamar, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? So again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Still a lot of football to be played. Even before we get to that point, guys, we can wrap this thing up by tomorrow night without even strapping up and putting our pads on, guys. That's the best case scenario. That is hope number one. If not, we'll handle these Browns on Sunday and we'll go from there. Tyrone says, shaking my head, Watt finally got an offense that can score for right. Tortilla says this. We should do that when the other team is kicking a field goal. Put a picture of LeBron. Right, that's what I'm saying. How lame and pathetic. This is the best they got in Cleveland. This is the best they got. Tortilla says, Tyrone, I'm sorry, says this. Tyrone says, has any offense scored more than 20 points last few playoff games? I'll wait. Right? You look at the quarterbacks. If you're going to blame anything, come on. One guy that plays on the defense is hardly the reason we're getting blown out year after year after year after year after year after year after year. It's kind of a cheap cop-out to me. It's true, but a cheap cop-out in a sense as well, because, again, that makes very little difference in blowout games what one guy on the defense is doing. Yinzer Nation says this, Tony caused his son to kill himself. F Tony. I don't know. Tortilla says, I still blame Caleb Johnson for the you know what? We could be in the playoffs right now, right? We could be in the playoffs right now if that play didn't happen against Seattle. Of course, everybody, if you forget, it was the ball that hit him and got recovered in the end zone. And Seattle recovered it for a touchdown. We lost by 2 touchdowns, but again, that touchdown was a part of the straw that broke the camel's back, probably. Go Green Bay. End of days. What's up, end of days? Always great seeing the end of days on the terrible board, my man. Hope everything went well for you over the holiday. Fearless Steel says at Lindsay. Oh, when Steelers lost when the Steelers lost last season, it was all Watt's fault. Nope, never said that. Not once. You can go back through all the footage, all the video that we have. Thousands of hours. I don't know how many hours. There's a lot of hours. I promise you won't find me saying that ever. Yinzer Nation, he says this, when the highest paid player isn't pulling his weight, that makes them a big reason why they lost. I disagree. You're not scoring points. You're down 28-0 in the first quarter to the Browns. Even if TJ Watt made 3 sacks in that period of time, chances are it wouldn't have been pretty. And we weren't able to score points. And that's a big part of it. You got to be able to do both sides. And again, I just can't. Yes, I acknowledge that his numbers aren't good in the postseason. And it's to say it's his fault. That's again, it's a bit of a stretch. Lindsay says it's always Watt's fault, though. It's always his fault. TJ for life. Tyrone says Tortilla says someone said we should wear our terrible towels as cheese heads tomorrow. And there you go. Like, that you know what? It might work because the football gods, they watch Tortilla. I'm telling you. You've heard the ghost of Myron stop here on the show before. They're very aware what's going on. And if you wear your terrible towel on your head tomorrow, please take a video and a picture and send it over. We'd love to see it, Tortilla. Let's go right here. DK is a number 2 receiver. Probably at this point, yes. But you know what? All in all, for the kind of offense that this was, John, still to get 850 yards, whatever it was, I think was a pretty nice season for him. Even, for what this offense was, let me say that one more time, and how they operated and how they, obviously with the Gainwell being the number 1, in numbers and still not really an identity until about a week and a half ago for this team. So, but again, he's getting to that point in his career where he could very well be a number 2 on a team. Lindsay, what is the highest, only the highest paid this year? Mark Malone says at Yinzer Nation, the Watt man has had his wheels run off by our coach just trying to get another non-losing season. He's burned up by the year's end. Armac said he calls him the Teflon Don, doesn't know who Gotti is. Yinzer Nation also says that Mark Malone, damn, having to resort to a race. I'm not even going to start with the racism talk. Mark Malone, what only counts 25 million against the cap? Let's see. Mark Malone. Yeah. Jamal, what's up, brother? Always great seeing my man Jamal. I hope you had a great holiday, my friend. And always great to see Jamal on the terrible board. Vegas says one stop on D versus the Bengals would have been nice too. Right? I agree. I don't listen. I can't blame one guy for everything. If it's a quarterback who throws 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl to lose you the game, yes, I blame that guy for everything, as we have in the past. And there are situations where you could blame one guy for losing a game for the most part. But again, it so happens that we haven't won any playoff games since he's been here. But again, there's 53 guys. Why has nobody else played well enough to win a football game in that period of time? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Gang, and that's crazy too as well in the days. And that's one thing that people got to get in their head. If people talk about they don't like Tallman, it doesn't mean they're racist. Fuck off. Jeez, oh man, you're allowed to not like somebody, Yinzer Nation. Anyway, okay, with this, I have to move past. Let's see. Mark Malone says these indoctrinated nut huggers are hilarious. Derpy was a DEI hire. Yes, he was. Derpy was a DEI hire. Bingo says that would have been a terrible turban. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see. Mark Malone, Lindsay K. Why are we in a bad mood, guys? Why are we in a bad mood? The Steelers are about to clinch a playoff spot tomorrow. Let's cheer up, everybody. And come on, we can all be focusing this energy on Tater Tard, but he disappeared. Where's the tard at? Come on. Feel the steel. Love putting panties in a bunch, and I end up being right, and I am going to be right again. Teflon Dawn is going to F it up. Watch. And finally, talk about... people are crazy these days, guys. Can't we just leave the bullshit out of football? Can't we? Can't we just enjoy football and love it? And everybody love everybody, as Tortilla's saying. Let me go through here, see what we got. Guys, I guess we are kind of getting ready to round third on the show for its entirety today. I want to make sure. Gonna go look here. Gonna look there. Gonna look over here. Gonna look over there. Running backs again, guys. Running backs say they are not gonna let it happen. They are not gonna let Myles Garrett get his record-tying or breaking sack against the Steelers. Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell, everybody, the offensive line, they're very, very, very real about keeping that record. They're going to do it in Cincinnati if it happens, but it ain't going to happen against us, guys. Let's get into overs and unders. It is about that time, everybody. It's about that time. Overs and unders. Give me a hand on the board if you will. I need a little bit of help with this today, guys. I'm going to do overs, unders, and everything in betweeners. Let me start with the offense, guys. Give me over and under on things on the board. Phyllis Steele says Finch, Vanilla, and Yinzer can't handle. Who Yinzer can't handle the truth, Mug? You better believe I can handle the truth. Oh, I think he's saying the Yinzer Nation. All right. Let's get to the overs and unders, though. Overs and unders, man. We're going to start with the offense. Let me get some help on the board. Here we go. Over or under. Aaron Rodgers. Now, keep in mind, Cleveland has a damn good defense. It is top notch, guys. Keep that in mind. Offense, not so much. Rookie quarterback. Over or under, here we go. Aaron Rodgers, 1.5 touchdown passes against Cleveland this weekend. 1.5 touchdown passes against Cleveland this weekend. Over or under? What do you think about that, guys? Throw it up on the board if you have an opinion. Next. Well, the running backs for the Steelers rush for over 100 yards. Again, this defense for Cleveland is really good. Again, the offense is the running backs have been playing really well. Last week, of course, Jalen Warren, two of his runs go for 45 yards apiece. Of course, Kenneth Gainwell, this guy's just playing out of his mind this year. Are we going to get 100 yards rushing from our running backs in entirety against this Browns defense? Again, that's the point. That's the tricky part. This Browns defense, guys, it is a top-notch defense. It truly is a top-notch defense in this league. Number one, is Aaron Rodgers going to throw 1.5 touchdowns? Over or under on that? And then running backs, will they run over or under 100 yards for the day? Next on the list, guys, Adam Thielen. Game plan kind of changes this week a little bit, guys, because, of course, DK Metcalf is out with his suspension, 2 games. How about this one? Adam Thielen, 3.5 catches. It's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's going to be involved or not. Bingo got over and over on the first 2. Tortilla says over. How about this one, guys? Adam Thielen, 3.5 catches for the day. Next on the list, Scotty doesn't know, but Scotty does catch passes when thrown to him. Say what you will, Scotty Miller, big 3 big catches last week. I think he had maybe 4 on the day. Whatever it was, they were big nonetheless. Scotty Miller, 2.5 catches. Did they finally work Scotty into this offense? Again, every time they throw the ball to him, he makes a grab. MVS, of course, RMX has 5 touchdowns, but MVS should be involved in the offense a lot more. No DK. Bingo says under 3.5, but here comes Scotty to Scotty to Hottie Miller. I like it. Of course, a WWE reference there. And today saying over on that as well, guys. What do you think? 3.5 catches by Adam Thielen. The dynamic changes a little bit, and we weren't really sure what the dynamic was prior to DK being suspended. But again, it changes a little bit more. And again, this defense is a top-notch defense in the league. Say what you want, but the Browns do have a top defense in this league. They're that good. Next on the list, guys, let's hop over to the special teams. Chris Boswell, does he kick 2.5 field goals this game? I say yes. I say over on this one because, again, the defense is really good, and they're going to this is their Super Bowl. They're coming with full retard strength. Cleveland does this, guys, every year. Again, Tomlin, 9-8-1 in Cleveland in his career, on the road in Cleveland, and 1-5 in the last 6. So, for whatever reason, they get that retard strength at home. And today, so Steelers had 150 yards. But again, that and that was why I made this number what I did end of days, because Cleveland does have a good defense, and Detroit's defense, again, was they were really beat up. Yes, everyone's beat up this time of year. I get that. But you watched the game yesterday. Their injuries are really affecting them. And again, I'm not even sure they're not just throwing in the towel at this point anyway. But 100 yards against this Cleveland defense. That's the trick of it. The catch is it is Cleveland's defense. They are tough. So Let's see. On that was the 100 yards. Boz, guys, 2.5 field goals. 2.5 field goals by Boz. I say yes. Because when you play a better defense, you don't get into the end zone as much. You got to rely on threes. I think that he does get maybe three field goals on the day. Let's jump over to the defense. Alex Highsmith, guys. Alex Highsmith. What do you guys think about a half sack? A half sack for Alex Highsmith for the day. A half sack for Alex Highsmith for the day. He's been hot lately. A couple big plays last weekend. I think he got to the quarterback, and also there was some nice tackles for losses down on the goal line. Alex Highsmith, half sack for the day. Will he have a big game? Let's see. Steeler Freak John, he says this is a great game to see how far I agree, to see how far the O-line has improved. They must be feeling good and are talking shit in advance. Kenneth says over. Okay, everybody's over on the Alex Highsmith. I think so too. I think this is a big game. Again, we don't know what kind of game this is going to be. It's so hard to say. All this stuff that we're talking about now could be 100% irrelevant by tomorrow night. So again, this is kind of a weird week in that sense. You don't know who's going to be playing. You don't know who's not going to be playing. You don't know who's going to be rested if we get a win by this team tomorrow. So again, it's just a lot of fun at this point, guys. Bingo is saying over Highsmith. Kenneth is saying over combined. Okay, on the runs, gotcha. Tortilla says Highsmith will probably hurt his back. Yeah, I know. I wish he could stay healthy. And again, we clinch tomorrow. You're not going to want any of these injuries happening here, guys, over the next couple weeks before the playoffs start. So again, interesting situation. And I do like it. I do like it with still 2 games left in the season. If we could clinch with 2 games left, that's impressive for a team that struggled along the way and has been inconsistent at best through the most part of the season. I think we could all agree on that. Steeler Freak says this. Sanders holds on to the ball too long. He will get sacked a lot. I hope you're right. I hope you're right, man. Kenneth Jones says this. Thielen over 3 catches on that one. Over. Gotcha. How about this, guys? Defense or special teams? Touchdown. A half of defense or special teams touchdown. Now think about this Cleveland team. Their offense not good. Rookie quarterback. I think what's his name? Noju. How do you say that guy's last name? Their tight end. I think he's hurt. I just totally slipped my mind how to pronounce his last name at the moment. But guys,
Njoku.
That's who I'm talking about, and he's hurt. So again, guys, you don't know. We don't know. Very, very hard game to be able to predict and to just kind of foresee what the hell we think is going to happen, because we don't know what's going to happen in between now and then. All right, guys, defense or special teams touchdowns, 1/2. Bingo's saying this. He's saying over. He's saying over with the pick 6. Njoku, there it is. Njoku, gotcha. Thank you. Lindsay says, I just want to welcome the NFL. Welcome to the NFL moment for Shador. Yeah, me too, man. How about this one, guys? JPJ, we got to do it. We had this conversation. We can't not throw this in there, guys. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., 1.5 pass interference calls. He's been better. His numbers they've certainly got better. He hasn't been holding on. He hasn't been getting called. Over or under, guys? Joey Porter Jr., 1.5 interference calls on him this weekend, or defensive holding. Depends on how you want to. That particular call, any call on him to that capacity, guys. 1.5. Over or under? Joey Porter, 1.5 pass interference. Let me know what you think on the board. And while these guys are doing that, let me just throw up the last one. This one became notorious here on the 2 Dum Yinzers, of course. Is there going to be a half of a devastating injury? 1/2 of a devastating injury, which is a injury to a starter or long-term injury, guys. That is the over or under on the last over or under. Kenneth got Boz over. I am agreeing with that. I think we get some points off of Boz's toe this weekend. Sanders has thrown 8 welcome to the NFL. He's thrown 8 welcome to the NFL moment. You know what? This could be a lot of fun, guys. It really can. But again, I'm trying not to look past. I'm trying to be fair. And under on the JPJ defensive pass interferences. Highsmith over on his sacks. Got that, Kenneth. Lindsay says, no, I want him to hit. I want him to hit hard tortilla. And again, so many things are going to be unknown until tomorrow night at around 11 o'clock or earlier, depending on how bad the game ends up being. Again, Baltimore at Green Bay tomorrow, 8 o'clock. That game, the dynamics changed. We needed Green Bay to beat Baltimore because they were trying to fight for a playoff spot as well in Green Bay. We figured we'd get a nice fight in Green Bay. Baltimore's beat up, but with the win over Detroit yesterday, Minnesota beating Detroit 23-10, that put Green Bay into the playoffs yesterday. So that kind of screws things up a little bit on the initial plans. However, we got to wait till 11 o'clock tomorrow to even know what the next move is for the Steelers, guys. But again, we're going to do our best at these overs and unders and trying to figure everything out. Devastating injuries, guys, over or under. That is an injury to or a starter or a long-term injury to any player on the Steelers, guys. End of days is saying under. Over or under 1/2 a devastating injury. Throw it up on the board if you got it, guys. My prediction. I predict this. I think the Steelers are going to win 22-19. And I know that's closer than I even want to say. But again, the retard strength, it's the Cleveland Super Bowl. You have to always put that in consideration. Because again, Mike Tomlin, 9-8-1 in Cleveland in his career. 9-8-1. A loss will put him at 500 for his career in Cleveland. So do what you want with that. And also 1-5 in the last 6. 1-5 in the last 6 at Cleveland. So just throwing that out there, guys. Things you want to keep in mind heading into this weekend. Tortilla saying 38-12, which I would like. If this could be a game where we're not sweating at the end, I'd be forever grateful. And that's why I want Green Bay to wrap it up tomorrow. If they could get this win, then we could just kind of relax here. We could get our rest in before the playoffs. That's required just as much as the players, right, guys? So my pick is 22-19. I hope it's a lot. I hope the margin is larger. Bingo saying 34-17. Tortilla saying, of course, Pittsburgh 38-12. Throw your predictions up on the board if you got them over there, guys. Again, 22-19 is my pick. And my keys to winning, I can't even give you. Lindsay says I want it to be 28-0. I would love a 28-0 win. And for 2, for the keys, it all depends. It all depends what happens tomorrow night. Green Bay wins. There's no keys. Who cares? We're gonna rest. It's gonna be fun. Maybe play some backups. If Baltimore wins, then we have to play as good as we played all year and continue that and continue the good fortune that's came for this team over the past month or so. So again, tomorrow, very, very, very big game, guys. So I'll be watching, and I know the terrible board. I know everybody at home. Big game for the Pittsburgh Steelers as it is. There's 2 games tomorrow. That is the late game on Saturday. Yesterday, Christmas game football, the Christmas football game. Sorry, guys. The first game of the day, Dallas, they end up getting the win after they get eliminated from the playoffs last week. They beat the Washington Commanders 30-23. This AFC West matchup ended up being a little better than I thought it was going to be. Denver wins this football game 20-13 over the Kansas City Chiefs. And finally, we mentioned before, the game that affected us indirectly, but in a way, it certainly did affect us. Minnesota gets the win 23-10 over the Detroit Lions, and that puts Green Bay in the playoffs. Which, again, if we needed them to still get into the playoffs during heading into the game tomorrow against Baltimore, that plays to our advantage. And I would have felt more confident. So again, I'm starting to kind of prepare myself for the Browns game as I was kind of preparing myself more for the Saturday night game. But I guess even as fans, we can't look past anything. Let's see what goes down tomorrow over in Wisconsin. I do want to say this, guys. Make sure. I noticed like there was some maybe you might have forgot. Maybe like 1 or 2 weeks, maybe you went and started to do your picks. If you didn't complete your CBS picks for the week, guys, do make sure that you get over and get your CBS picks in. I don't want you to miss out because you forgot a game. CBS Pick'ems, we got underway last night. I didn't look at results. However, when I went in at one point before the game started, I did know there were still a few that weren't filled out. And guys, so do jump over there, get your CBS Pick'ems in, and we will, again, this is week 17. Week 17, guys, it was a long ride as far as the pick'ems went. It was a lot of fun. It was actually a really good competition. But get in there and make sure you get your picks in for these last couple games. You don't want to forget because we do have, again, you hung in there all season. Let's see how we can finish it out, right, guys? So CBS Pick'ems, don't forget, get over there and get those picks made. And the day says, I don't see Shador. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, can you really envision Shador Sanders winning this football game? I can't. I can't. I can't. But boy, would that be something for them to carry over, huh? If they could get a win against the Steelers with Shador and then wrap it up with a win against Cincinnati the following week, and that Smiles Carrot gets his record. I mean, that could be really big for Cleveland. But again, nothing seems to help this team. So again, I wouldn't get too excited if I was a Brownie fan. Tortilla says this: we're 3-point favorites. Who did the spread tater? Who did the spread tater? Okay, comma tater. I got you. I think we are 4.5. I think, unless it changed. You could be 100% right. I haven't looked. When I looked at the beginning of the week, we were 4.5-point favorites. But if we are 3, I take your word. Again, guys, this is the Browns Super Bowl. There's so much that can be talked about going into this weekend, and the thing is, it's just really hard because I don't know whether to go this way or that way with it, because tomorrow is the game that is going to mean a whole lot to the Steelers in their season. So it could either be the biggest game of the year for the Steelers, or it could be the night off or the day off. So that's kind of where the situation lies at this moment. It's crazy, but it is where we be, and it be where we be, guys. Tortilla says, I'll be pissed if Shador throws up his fake Rolex. I know. What if we lose to him and he's over there with his fake Rolex and the whole thing? Let's just not even think about that, guys, at the moment. But before I do jump into the trivia of the day, I do want to say, what do I want to say? I want to say something. I want to say this. We are, go check out our website. A lot of cool things over there. You heard Mike jump in there for a moment. Mike does a lot of work over on the website, guys. He puts a lot of work into it. He does have his Dum Yinzers thoughts. He has links to every single show. Again, guys, this was episode 877 today. You could go back and watch every show, and maybe even, you know what? I'm just going to leave it at that. I was going to say even Phil could go back and try to look for me saying that it was all Watt's fault that we lost, and they'll never find it. But it is there. If you wanted to go back through any of the 877 episodes, they are there. The links are in there. Also, what else, guys? Also, the contact information. And there's a pretty cool merchandise room if you want to go over and you think this logo over here looks pretty sharp. A lot of cool stuff. And it might be nice to get for those people after Christmas that you might have forgotten. That's a pretty cool gift. So do go check out the website, www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, guys, time to get into it. How well do you know your enemy? How well do you know your opponent? And you know what? There's not many teams that we know better than the Clowns. So let's get into the question of the day, guys. This is the trivia of the day. Put on your thinking caps. Everybody at home, everybody on the board. Here we go. Question of the day. These four, it's even better. These 4 quarterbacks saw action during the Browns' 2017 0-16 season. Can you name any of the 4 Clowns that was the quarterback during the 2017 0-16 year, which was so embarrassing they even went out and made a city parade, and all the idiots, all the village idiots, they came and gathered and cheered this team like it was funny. Question of the day. These 4 quarterbacks saw action during the Browns' 2017 0-16 season. Can you name any of those 4 quarterbacks, guys? Don't look it up. Just see. Because, again, I don't expect many people to know. I think it would be silly if people knew at least 2 of them, to be honest. Throw it up there. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you remember any of the names of any of those quarterbacks, those 4 that participated, that all played in the 0-16 season. I challenge you. Armax says this. He says 32-14. I like it. I listen, I like your picks a lot better than mine. I truly do. If it goes the way you guys are picking, I'll be thrilled. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. Lindsay says this. I'm not buying anyone anything until next year. You're good. Hey, it's just in my shtick. I gotta say it in my description of what I say about the website. No hard feelings, guys. Tortilla says, "Fuck, man. They have a new quarterback." That's what I'm saying. That's why this was difficult, right? This is a difficult question. Think about it. Bingo's saying Colt McCoy. Was Colt McCoy one? Derpy says Kaiser. What the fuck is a Kaiser? Is it the bread? I don't even know. Philip Rivers feels still. I think he's being facetious. Throw it up there, guys. Again, don't look. Just see because of how irrelevant the Browns are and can be. See if you can think of any of the 4 different quarterbacks that did play during that 0-16 season. Throw it up on the board, guys. Kaiser, Colt McCoy, Philip Rivers. Again, I think he was joking, but again, guys, throw it up or just see if we know any. I didn't. I thought I did, and you'll see why when I give you the answer in just a moment. 4 quarterbacks did play during this Browns 0-16 season. Can you name any of them? And they talk about us. They're like, "Oh, you guys haven't won a playoff game since 2017. 2017, you didn't win a single game." This is why Browns fans are the best. Somber, what's up? Always great seeing the great Somber on the terrible board. My man, he always makes it in. I do want to say, hope the holidays went well for you. He says Oprah. He says Oprah. Oprah was in there playing under center for the Browns. Guys, this is the answer. Question of the day. These 3 quarterbacks, why do I keep saying 3? These 4 quarterbacks saw action during the Browns 2017 0-16 season campaign. Guys, can you name any of them? We see Kaiser on the board. We see Colt McCoy on the board. Oprah, Philip Rivers. Guys, the answer is this. These 4 quarterbacks were the 4 quarterbacks that contributed to the Browns 0-16 season just 7 years ago. 8 years ago, I guess it would be now. See, I thought right there, Bingo. I was right there with you. I said Colt McCoy, but we were wrong. It was Josh McCown. Right? Exactly. Josh McCown. Number 1, he was the starter to begin the whole thing. Josh McCown, number 1. Number 2, Kevin Hogan. Josh McCown, Kevin Hogan so far contributed to the 0-16 season for the Browns. Number 3. You ready for this? Oh, you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, of course." How could I have forgot that? Yeah, exactly. Tortilla. Who? Number 3, Cody Kessler. 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 Cody Kessler. 3rd quarterback involved with the 0-16 season for the Browns. So number 1, Josh McCown. Number 2, Kevin Hogan. Number 3, Cody Kessler. Somber says Mike Jones. Number 4. Here we go. Derpy. He's just making old names up now. Derpy says, I forgot about Kessler, but Derpy, you did get number 4 right. Number 4 is DeShone Kizer. And they wonder how they don't win. What? How does a team that gets the number 1 through 3 pick every effing year for 25 years can't never get it together when it comes to these were the 4 quarterbacks just 7 seasons ago on the team. Josh McCown, Kevin Hogan, Cody Kessler, and again, DeShone Kizer. There you go. Need we say more? Tortilla says Vanilla can't Google it if Ryan. That's exactly why my trivia is worded the way that they are usually. Some might say, why does he do it? Why are they difficult and kind of complex and calculated? Because I do know that the Vanilla is fond of the Google search. Phyllis still says Derpy Nerpy Googled it. The only reason I think Derpy knows is because his mom is a Browns fan. You know what I mean? He lives with his mom and his family and that. So that didn't surprise me. However, otherwise I would say yeah. But I do like Derpy Nerpy. That's funny. Bingo says, and they ran Mayfield out, and they ran, they did, and then they get their guy after that debacle. You go 0-16, then you finally get your guy. You get a guy not only can get you to the playoffs, but they could beat the Steelers, and they could and they get rid of them. This is Cleveland, guys. Cleveland at its best. So Derpy says, no, I didn't. I just remembered it because he played the Packers one game and then got traded to them. Somber says, I love the Google too. My God, we would be so collectively as humans, we'd be so stupid if we didn't have Google, right? Remember when you actually had to try to remember shit, and if you didn't know something, you just didn't know it. It's hard to not know anything anymore, right? If you need it, you just look it up. Makes me feel smart, right? Also, Tortilla says, to be fair, I Googled it, and Google didn't even know. I have no problem believing that, guys. Derpy says, I think the dumbest thing Cleveland did was fire Dorsey. Tortilla. Not even Google cares about Cleveland. Not even Google cares about Cleveland. You're right. And I do want to say this, though. I do know that Tyrone, I do know that my middle son, a bunch of people actually that I do know, are making the trek up to Cleveland to watch the Steelers and Browns this weekend. Guys, be safe, be careful, have fun, but most importantly, bring victory to the Steelers no matter what happens tomorrow night in the Green Bay Baltimore game, guys. You guys are, you're going up there, support the team. Let it all hang out, man. Get them jerseys ready, go up and have a great time. And like I said, bring that victory back home. Because again, having next week off would be nice. If we could have that little break and Baltimore game not matter, I think that's best case scenario. Again, I don't know about stretching a break into 2 weeks. I don't think that benefits us. But let's see how tomorrow plays out. We'll see how the weekend plays out. We'll get we'll meet up on Monday for Victory Monday, and then we'll figure out what goes on beyond that point. But Derpy, what's going on? It's on the Steelers. What Derpy? What is on the Steelers? Oh, a Terrible Towel documentary. Okay, thank you, Derpy. Just relax. Summer watched it already. I need to listen. This is Derpy. I'm gonna make a segment for you every day, and here's what's gonna happen because Derpy overtalks me all the time. I'm gonna give him a segment. I promise you, he doesn't talk. He doesn't say 3 words. If I gave him a segment at the end of the show every day, and I would say, Derpy, tell me something interesting, it would be silence. He does well. He does well when I'm talking. That's how he performs the best. That's when he performs the best. Okay, all right, Derpy. Derpy apologized. All right, I'm done. I was going to keep going, but Phil the Steel says, cheers, Watt fans. Remember what Mike, a.k.a. Vanilla, said. It's just going to be another game, and Teflon Dawn sucks. Tortilla says, somber, seeing everything he works for the CIA. I seen it, he said. Just like Craig Robinson, right? Can't remember which one was that. Pineapple Express. That was a pretty good line from Craig in that movie. Bingo says Cleveland even managed to set one of their own rivers on fire. Yoy, double yoy. Love the comment to the Myron Cope reference, of course. That may be the game ball because of the Cope reference for the day on the terrible board, guys. I do want to say this, though. If you haven't had a chance, go check out any of our social media. It's everywhere, guys. Go over to Facebook. Go over to X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even TikTok. Click on that follow button and keep up with what the 2 Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had a chance yet, do hit the like button down below, if you will. Also, you could hit the sub if you haven't already. You could share and even comment if you'd like on the down below. It all helps us out in the algorithm. We appreciate it all. Thank you so much on that, guys. I do also want to say this. I want to say a big thank you to our friends over at Duquesne Pilsner. Again, over the holidays, still doing their thing, man. And I do want to say, still including us in all their promotion. And we couldn't thank you more, guys. Thank you to the people at Duquesne Pilsner. Great people, great beer. We always got it right here on tap at the studio for the Steeler games. And I encourage you to do the same. It's made right here in Pittsburgh. What better thing to do? Drink Pittsburgh beer while rooting for your Pittsburgh football team, guys. Right here in Pittsburgh. Duquesne Pilsner says it right on the can, guys. Grab a Duke. So get out and get yours. Derpy, I might try to go to the Steelers versus Ravens game, if not the wild card game. Also, Derpy says the draft is looking unlikely right now. So he's swapping out. It sounds like he's swapping out the playoff or the draft, going to the draft for the playoff game. We'll see about that. I'll have to get on find out what's going on with Derpy a little bit more. Kenneth says I cheated and looked it up and no names. I looked up all no names, no career quarterbacks. Tortilla says, don't worry, Derpy, you'll get signed after the draft. I do want to say also, thank you so much, everybody, for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. It is the day after Christmas. I didn't know what to expect, but you guys are always awesome. You guys always pull your weight, and you guys always do your thing. And I can't say that. I tell you how much I appreciate you guys. You guys were awesome, and I figured it was going to be good. I figured everybody was excited for the weekend. We got playoffs on the line, and getting this scoop out here, guys. Again, a lot of the injury information. Again, TJ Watt, but I think totally everything relies on how tomorrow plays out. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, the Ravens at the Packers kind of dictates the way things go for the Steelers on Sunday. So do pay attention to that game tomorrow night, guys. It's going to tell the story of how things go from here on out for the rest of the way for the Steelers. So very important. Check that game out tomorrow night. 8 o'clock. Packers hosting the Ravens. Grab a couple more of these messages, and we are going to get ready to wrap things up for the week here, guys. Again, you guys were awesome. I appreciate every one of you guys and gals, and everybody at home as well. But this week, guys, you're feeling it, and I'm feeling it, and everybody's feeling it, and we're getting ready for the playoffs. It's inevitable. It's on its way. That's what I was trying to say. Let's see. Derpy says, Ryan, I must say the Steelers can't waste the opportunity. They have to go into Cleveland and mean business regardless of circumstances tomorrow. I don't know if I agree with that, because again, I think you're going to want to start getting guys healthy, and I think you have to treat the different situations differently. I think you're going to want to get some guys back in and get them active who's hurt. I think you're going to James Pierre, if he could play. I want James Pierre to play. I want him to get back at it. A guy with the lung. I mean, do you give him an extra week? Again, that they're speculating that he might have an extra week of rest. So again, it's a lot depends on tomorrow night, guys. It's not dictating everything, but it's going to play a big role. Derpy says they cannot pull a Tomlin. Bill the Seal says 92. He said we're going to kick some ass. Again, guys, thank you so much. I want to say thank you to everybody involved, everyone on the board, guys. You guys always make things interesting on the show here. And again, you guys are the lifeblood of this show, and I couldn't thank you enough. I truly couldn't thank you enough, guys. Also, everybody at home, whether you're at work, at the gym, maybe at the gym, it's the day after Christmas, everybody trying to work off some of that cookie weight, wherever you may be, in the car with your buds, your pods, your earphones, whatever the case may be, guys. Thank you too. You all make this thing work, and we appreciate every one of you. We really, truly, honestly do. You guys, Steeler Nation, baby, is what we do. Where are we at? So we did get the question of the day. I got everything now. I think that's it, guys. If anything else you want to throw up on the board, do it now, because I got about 3 minutes. I'm going to try to stretch this out for another couple minutes, and then we're going to get ready to head into the weekend. And it's a very important weekend for the Steelers. Definitely can wait an extra week, Bingo says, especially after a couple of wins without him. I think, and that's not shitting on him. That's just saying we managed to get wins without him. So if he rests, he's got to rest. You got to get him healthy. Derpy says, I'll catch you in group chat. Ryan, I might do reaction for the Packers and Ravens game tomorrow on the Yinzer channel. Keep your eye open for that. Maybe Finch, Derpy, maybe the guys will be on after the show. But you do know after the game on Sunday in the evening time, the guys do pop up and do a review show for the weekend. So don't forget not. I need my water. Hold on, I gotta get a drink of water. What's going on here? So Sunday evening, do go over and check out Finch and Derpy. They should be popping up. And then late night Sunday, Derpy does his nerd show. That is right around 9:30. So keep your eye out for all that stuff, guys. But again, big weekend for the Pittsburgh Steelers, going up to Cleveland Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock. This week 17 matchup, guys. Clinch it tomorrow. We could clinch it Sunday. If we don't do it one of those two, we have to do it next week at home against Baltimore. That's the way it plays out. I grab a Duke, right? I agree. You know what? I'm going to grab a Duke real soon, actually, as we were on this Christmas, a little bit of a holiday break here, I guess you could call it. Everybody was off yesterday. Derpy says I'll be on the road for it, Ryan, but I should be able to pop in for the review. Got you on that, brother. Derpy down in Florida for a nice holiday vacation. I do think that's it, everybody. I do want to say thank you one more time to everybody. Again, we'll be back Monday to do it all over again. Hopefully it's Victory Monday. I got a pretty good feeling about this one, guys. But if it is or it isn't, we still get back and we'll figure out what it is we got to do next and talk about this black and gold, everybody. The black and gold that we all love. Somber says, just grab a Duke, man. I do want to say this. Listen, everybody, have a great weekend. Stay safe. It's been hectic. Everybody trying to get presents bought, wrapped. Money situations don't make it easy all the time. A lot of things happen. So I know that it's been stressful. There's been certain situations here at the studio and in the show, just certain stressful things with personnel, and it's all going to come back together, guys. The holidays are over. We're heading into the new year. And you know what? To be quite frank, it all falls in line with the Pittsburgh Steelers getting ready to go to the playoffs. So we're going to make it. I promise you. Christmas is done behind us. And again, from here on out, between now and the new year, do be sure to stay safe, especially if you go out and doing any drinking. Guys, we will be back Monday. We'll do it all over again at our regular time. We hope to see everybody then. Get them jerseys out. Get them terrible towels out. Don't forget 8 o'clock tomorrow. Green Bay hosting the Ravens. Huge, huge, huge game. Whatever you do, be sure to root and cheer on our Pittsburgh Steelers to bring them victory so we could, like I said, get a little bit of a head start and maybe take advantage of some time off heading into the playoffs, guys. Derpy said I should be on Monday. That'd be awesome. If you could get here Monday, that'd be perfect. Huge game, Somber says. Derpy, see you in the group chat. All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much. Have a safe weekend. Merry Christmas. Sometimes Christmas carries over into the weekend. I know that a lot of families are different, fragmented nowadays. Some people still seeing people that they didn't see on Christmas. So get out, enjoy your family, stay safe, get ready for the Steelers, and root on our team, guys, as we do go to Cleveland and get this victory, guys. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. For Derpy, for Finch, for Mike, myself, the two Dum Yinzers, everybody have a great weekend. Go out there and bring this team victory, guys. Here we go, Steelers. I'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.